what is the most remarkable story you ever encountered? I tell them it's the story of the triplets.
You guys have been on the front page of every newspaper in the world.
True. They were more like clones than they were like brothers.
It was a miracle.
There was nothing that could keep us apart.
That's when things kind of got funky.
Something was just not right.
They separated these boys at birth. The parents had never been told that there were two other children. What was the purpose?
Why? How could you not tell us?
They're trying to conceal what they did from the people they did it to.
When you play with humans, you do something very wrong.
Who would be evil enough to come up with something like this?
Hi there, welcome to What the Flick. Christy and Ben and Alonso. We're talking about a really great documentary you just saw a clip from called Three Identical Strangers. Please describe it to us as best you can.
Well, if you were watching television in the early 80s, you probably saw the story of three guys in New York, Eddie, David, and Bobby, thank you, who found each other in their early 20s and realized they were triplets separated at birth. And it was this amazing human interest story, and it was all this amazing thing about how similar their lives had been, and the coincidences, and they liked the same cigarettes and the same kind of women, and but there's another story behind that is darker and more disturbing, and this documentary lets us see both sides of it, and it's fascinating.
Now, you remember these guys?
I saw that the Donahue they keep showing. Yeah. I saw that episode.
That's so funny.
I'm amazed. They were 19 when they found each other in 1980. They were born in July of 1961. So again, all this television in 80, 81 that they were on, I have no recollection at all of this.
Yeah. Y'all were popular. I was watching TV.
Well, believe me, I was watching TV.
Yeah,
I was not a talk show fan, so I probably stayed away from that.
It's fascinating though, and there's a lot I don't want to talk about because it goes down avenues that you don't necessarily expect.
The revelations are.
Yeah, and the discovery of all that, you should be there for it without knowing.
Well, the first 20 minutes of the movie are two of the three guys talking about their meeting, and then with the third brother too, and then a bunch of clips, and they're so. Bobby and David are so energetic, and they tell the story in such an engaging way. Tom Wardle, the director, did such a great job of getting them to tell this story this way, and they're clearly interesting guys, right? And then you're watching this, you go, this is amazing, this is unbelievable, especially if you didn't know this, right? To sort of that one guy goes to college and he shows up there first day and he doesn't know anybody, and everybody's like, hey, glad you're back, so great to see you again, we didn't think you were coming back. And he's like, what is happening? And then and you're totally identifying with this, and then realizing you have a twin, we gotta call him, and they meet, and they find the other one reads the paper, and then you're like, this is 96 minutes, and we're at 18 minutes,
yeah.
right? And you're like, so it's not betraying anything to say, something happened, something interesting happened that fills the last 80 minutes of this movie.
A lot of things happen, yeah, and what Tim Wardle does here in that beginning with reenactments and cutting between reenactments of that first day of college and Bobby's retelling of it. It's cut together so beautifully. It's like the energy is just infectious, and you feel like you were there with them. And I know that the use of that kind of reenactment is not everyone's favorite. They do it in like Man on Wire, and not everyone is down for that kind of like Errol Morris style.
It's the kind of thing that, so when Errol Morris did it in The Thin Blue Line, like documentary purists were just aghast, and now we're sort of, I think it's just kind of become part and parcel.
It strikes me as sort of old school reenactment, right? Because now Errol Morris in the Netflix special that he did, what's that called? Do we know?
Wormwood or something?
Wormwood, which is so terrific. And that's crossed over from reenactments to a narrative feature movie taking place alongside a documentary. And Peter Sarsgaard is cast, and Molly Parker, and they are playing these characters in their full scenes, scripted scenes, rather than the sort of grainy reenactment of handshaking and people hugging, with a soft focus. So, that now a purist, this This
is how you do it.
must be let go,
But
right?
it's so well done.
It's really
and
well
also
done, I know,
there
yeah.
happens to be a great deal of actual archival footage and like newspaper footage and photographs and home videos because these guys, as you point out,
Were media
on
sensations.
television everywhere. I did not put two and two together that they are in Desperately Seeking Susan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until she walks by them in the movie. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a ton of stuff to
They opened
flesh out their development with each other.
They opened a restaurant, and did you know that? They opened
I
a
did not
restaurant?
know about Triplets the
in
restaurant.
New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
No, but I did. I read Phyllis Richmond, the Washington Post legendary food critic, when I was a kid. She has a review of their restaurant of Triplets, and I mean it's Romanian Jewish food. And it sounds both simultaneously disgusting and fantastic. And I desperately,
It sounds comforting.
it got a really great review, which you would not think from that restaurant. But the Post dug it.
This movie does not use the Triplets number from the bandwagon, just in case anybody.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, but it does go to different directions, and it becomes about like identity and ethics and who you truly are, and it's a sort of a fascinating nature-nurture debate.
So we should say that what we are told early on is the reason they didn't know each other. They were triplets, obviously separated and adopted by different parents, and grew up pretty close to each other, all like within a 100-mile radius around New York.
Yeah, and the agency that did it was like at that point the preeminent adoption agency, especially for Jewish families in New York, and so. Yeah, as they get to know each other, it's thrilling at first. I mean, I don't know about you guys. You guys are not only children. I am. And when you're a kid, you kind of wonder, like, as an only child, do I have a twin out there? Is there somebody else like me out there who looks like me? So for these people to make that discovery, like you feel that deep emotional thrill of being understood deeply for the first time.
I want to mention Michael Hart, the editor.
Yes.
Because as you're saying, yeah, that first part is so engaging and exciting and that story. And then they go back and they like edit little sound bites of like things that when you take them out of context, like, wait a minute.
Right, that's a really nice moment.
That creates a sort of mosaic of, oh wait, there's a whole other story here
Yeah, it
that
becomes
the movie
a mystery.
then tells.
Yeah, it's not just like a heartwarming, exciting character study. Like it's a mystery, and it becomes almost like a horror film eventually.
It does. That's right. And they and the moments that we see in those shows where they like find that they, you know, as you said, like the same girls smoke the same cigarettes, they have the same meaty hands. And they played along with that. They played that up because they know that worked on TV.
That was a shtick.
But there is no doubt that when they found each other, they had a very authentic, real connection.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, the two of them lived across the street from each other. They opened the restaurant together, and obviously, eventually, they had the normal problems that people who sort of are connected but didn't know each other at all growing up have. But they all had friends. They were all, but they found each other, and so that part is just beautiful. Seeing how they were like they just wanted to spend all their time together. So that was totally authentic.
Yeah, they felt complete. I think finally to find each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a funny story and it's a nutty story and it's ultimately very sad and kind of scary. But it's fascinating and hopefully we've talked about it in a way that you want to go see it, but you don't know what's going to happen.
And all of their wives participated and they helped enormously too frame the story. Yeah.
And family, friends, and things like that. So
Parents,
you definitely get a feel for who these guys are individually and also as a group. And yeah, it's pretty great. I'm saying 8.7. What are you saying?
Yeah, 9. It was great.
Yeah, 8.5. It's a terrific documentary.
Yeah, our number is 8.7. I don't know where it's opening, but wherever it is, please go find it. It's an interesting antidote to the giant blockbusters that you usually see this time of year. So go get it. Bye.